Start with our learning intention. Thoughtful mathematicians solve measurement word problems. So today we're going to be adding and subtracting in these problems. So go ahead and pause the video and read over our vocabulary that we've been working with for a few days now. And go ahead and pause again and read these other vocabulary words about subtraction. All right, so I'm going to model this first one. Please follow along as I do. Melissa and her mom go on a road trip. They drive 227 kilometers before lunch. They drive 169 kilometers after lunch. How much farther do they drive before lunch than after lunch? So remember in my definition for subtraction, it says I can use subtraction to compare two numbers. I'm trying to compare the distances that they drove before lunch and after lunch. How much farther is it? So I can subtract. So let me go ahead and rewrite my numbers in standard algorithm with the greater number on top because I'm going to subtract from the greater number. I can never write this lesser number on top because I can't subtract a greater number from a lesser number. So let me start subtracting. I always start with the ones place. I never begin in the hundreds. I always start with the ones, regardless if I'm adding or subtracting. So 7 minus 9. I can't do that because 9 is greater than 7, so I'm going to have to regroup. So I go to the tens place, and I'm going to regroup a 10. So I take a 10 from the tens place, and I regroup it to the ones place. So now I have 1 10 and 17 ones, because a 10 plus 7 is 17. So 17 ones minus 9. Now I can subtract. I have enough. 17 minus 9 is 8. 1 minus 6, moving into the tens place. Again, I can't do this, so I'm going to have to regroup again a second time. Now I go to the hundreds place, take 100 away to regroup to the tens place. Well, 100 equals 10 tens. So 10 tens plus the 1 10 that I already have would be 11 tens. So now I have 11 in the tens place. 11 minus 6 is now enough to subtract. 11 minus 6 is 5. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So I don't have to write anything. I can write 0 if I want, but I don't like to because there's no need. So 58. So they drove 58 more kilometers before lunch than after lunch. But I want to be sure that this is the correct answer. So I'm going to add my answer with the subtrahend to be sure that it equals the number that we started with. So I always like to write the greater number on top. 169, and notice I'm lining them up by place value. The ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place. So 169 plus 58. 9 plus 8 is 17, regroup the 1. 1 plus 6 is 7, and 7 plus 5 is 12, regroup the 1 again. And 1 plus 1 is 2, 227, so I am in fact correct. So now I can write my final answer. They drove 58 more miles before lunch. So the question was, how much farther did they drive before lunch than after lunch? 58 more miles. So let's try one together. If you don't have a paper and pencil or something to write on with me, please go ahead and grab that now. You can pause while you gather your materials. All right, let's get started. A chef buys some meat for a special recipe. A chicken leg weighs 79 grams. A steak weighs 341 grams. A ham weighs 46 grams. How many grams of meat does he buy? Well, let's see. So I know the chicken leg is 79 grams. The steak is 341 grams. And the ham is 436 grams. I want to know how much grams of meat did he buy? So how would I solve this problem? So I hope you said add because I have 3 different pieces of meat and I want to know how much he buys altogether. I want to know all these different grams combined. So I'm going to have to add them. So I can add them all together or I can do one by one. One by one might be easier, so I'll do 341 plus 79 first, because those are the two numbers that I see, the two first numbers that I see. So 9 plus 1 is 10, regroup the 1. And 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12, regroup the 1. And in my hundreds place, I get 420. Now what do we do with this 420 grams? We have to add it to the 436 grams that we haven't used yet. So remember I said we're going to add twice, or we can add them all together, but it's easier to add them twice so that you don't make any mistakes with multiple numbers or multiple add-ins. So 0 plus 6 is 6, and 2 plus 3 is 5, and lastly 4 plus 4 is 8. 856. So we need to check our work though. So how are we going to check our work for this problem? We're going to use the inverse operation. So we already added these two. So we want to subtract this just to make sure that this is right. So 856 minus 420 should give me the other number that I added. So 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 8 minus 4 is 4. So we got 436, so we're still correct. So what's our final answer? How many grams of meat does he buy? He buys 856 grams of meat. All right, so let's look at this last one that you're going to do. First, we're going to read and annotate together, and then you'll do it on your own. Amy measures ribbon. She measures a total of 393 centimeters of ribbon and cuts it into 2 pieces. So all her ribbon together is 393 centimeters, and then she cuts it into 2 pieces. The first piece is 184 centimeters long. How long is the second piece of ribbon? So go ahead and solve this one. Pause the video now and solve, and then press play when you're ready to go over your answer. Again, pause now, press play when you're ready. All right, so I like to draw a tape diagram to help me understand before I solve. So I know that the total ribbon altogether is 393 centimeters. I also know she cut this into 2 pieces, and the first piece is 184 centimeters. I'm trying to figure out this other piece. So I have a part-whole situation. I know one part and I know the whole. So I'm trying to figure out the missing part. Well, I remember from my subtraction definition that I can use subtraction to find what's left over. So I can subtract the whole minus the part to find out what's left over for the other part. So let's go ahead and do that. And I hope this is what you did. So go ahead and you're going to check your work with my work right now. So 3 minus 4, I cannot do that because 4 is greater than 3, so I'm going to regroup going to the tens place. And I'm going to take away a 10 to regroup it to the ones place. So now I have 13 ones because a 10 plus 3 is 13. Now I have enough to subtract. 13 minus 4 is 9. And 8 minus 8 in the tens place is 0. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So I get 209. But again, we're not done because we always want to check our work. So if I add my 2 parts, 209 and 184, I should get 393. So let's see if that works. Sorry, this is a 9, looks like a 4. 9 plus 4 is 13. Regroup the 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So 393, that is correct. So our final answer is the second piece of ribbon is 209 centimeters long. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want you to focus on the questions and the information that you're given in these word problems to help you determine if you have to add or subtract, because you will have questions like this where you had to add, some where you had to subtract. So please look out for words like what is the total when you're adding, or how much altogether, things like that. And when you're subtracting, how much more, how much less, uh, what is the missing piece, things like that, right? So part per whole, we would subtract, like this one here. How long is the second piece? We didn't know that piece, but we knew the whole and the part. And here, how much further? So we knew we had to subtract. How many grams does he buy? This was all together, so we were adding, right? So thinking of the information that the word problem is giving you to help you figure out which operation you need to do, addition or subtraction. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye, guys.